Hi there, it's Liz from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today for another recorded but going live at my normal live time video because I'm on holiday. So, this is a much promised video on how to make a side stepper card, and I've tried really hard to do this in such a way that regardless of whether you're looking at international A4 card or North American letter card sizes, you will be able to do it without that much in the way of measuring. Well, there is measuring, but there's flexibility, I think is what I'm trying to say. So, just a bit of housekeeping. As I say, this is a recorded video. I would normally be going live at this time on a Thursday, but it's recorded because I'm on holiday. If you don't already subscribe, you can subscribe by clicking the there it is, the red button. Subscribe. If you hit the alert bell, you'll also be sent an email when I upload a new video or go live, particularly if I go live. So that's always a good thing to click. And what else can I tell you? Oh yes, we've expanded into the Republic of Ireland and Belgium. So if you are in either of those two countries in Europe, you can now not only shop with me, but you can also join Stamping Up. And until the end of October, there is an additional value in your starter kit. So more product for you to choose, which is always good. The cost is still the same, but you get more for your money. So do have a look at that. And for now, let's flip the camera down and have a look at what we're doing. So this is the card that started all the inquiries. So I made this for not last Saturday, but the Saturday before, Simple Stamping Saturday. Oh, and I must say, one of my team pointed out that if you've got the Yeti dies that were only available for September, these could be Yeti footprints. These little snow caps could also be Yeti footprints, which I thought was rather cute. So yes, this was the card that set everyone going, how do I make that? Okay. So I'm going to try and talk as much as I can in generic terms rather than in specific measurements. I've got half a sheet of, this is International A4 card. And I need to decide how wide each of these bits is going to be. Now, personally, I will simply just pick a measurement. This is actually 3.5 inches, I think my memory serves. Yeah. So I'm going to go with 3.5 inches. So I am 3.5 would be there, Liz. I'm going to get rid of that for the moment. But I am going to, it's not going to be, is it going to be? Yes, it is. No, it's not. It's not sharp enough. Let me actually grab my snips. I'm very gently going to, actually no, change of plan. I'm going to take your pick with the small ball. It's only for marking. I'm just very gently going to rub that up and down a bit so I know where 3.5 inches is. I can see it, which is kind of the important bit here. I am actually going to go that way around. So there is a ruler on your trimmer here. Now you can get a metric ruler as an additional item if you wish, but I'm going to line my 3.5 inches up with that mark that I've now got, and I am going to line up this edge here with the 1 inch mark. I'm going to very carefully pick up my cutting blade and push it in at the 3.5 inch mark. Not my cutting blade. What am I talking about? Get rid of that. Stop. I'm going to pick up my embossing scoring blade and just run that there. So I've now got a score line, not a cut line, a score line to meet this line here. I'm now going to move this edge to 2 inches and do the same. Then I'm going to move it. Now this can be whatever measurement you want. I've just chosen 1 inch. It could be that you decide to do, let's see what's a sensible metric alternative, 2.5 centimetres and 5 centimetres. You might want it to be 2 centimetres and therefore 4 centimetres. But I'm just using 1 inch because it's an easy maths. So I've done my first score line and my second score line. Those two are the same width as each other. My next one is going to be a slightly wider gap. So that's 1 inch, so I need more. I'm going to go to 1¼ inches. I must stop bringing that in and score back to my same mark. Don't worry if you don't go all the way, it's fine. So I'm then going to go the same again. So this is the same as this. This is going to be the same as the next score line. So I'm going to go, I'm at 3¼ so I'm going to go 4¼ plus the extra quarter because it's 1¼ inches, and then score. Now this is the only bit of actual measuring you need to do. You need to find out what that distance is. So I have got a ruler and I'm going to measure, and it's an unhelpful measurement, so let's change to centimeters for me. So I've got 9.6 centimeters. For some reason my smart speaker decided that it wanted to put its 2-penny within. So 9.6 centimeters. Half of 9.6. Alexa, off. Half of 9. Alexa, off. Half of 9.5. Well, half of 9 is 4.5. Half of 6 is 3. So that would be
4.75.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Roughly 4.75. So I'm going to score at 4.75. Score. So I'm coming back to that score line. You couldn't make it up, could you? And score. Now, this is the interesting bit. We have to cut between those 2 points. So let's get rid of our scoring blade, and I'm going to pop this at 3.5 inches. Line the edge of let's come back. Let's take my blade out. On your blade, you've got a little mark here. That lines up with where the point of your blade is. That's assuming you've got our lovely trimmer. So I'm going to take that blade and I'm going to line up that line with this first score line and push, and I'm going to very gently score all the way to this last line. In fact, I'm going to come slightly shy of that line because I can always finish it off, but if I go too far I can't magic it back together. So I'm just going to snip that last bit. So let me get rid of that for the moment. Now this we know has to be a mountain because it's got to have something on it. That's going to be a valley, that's going to be a mountain, that's going to be a valley, and that's going to be a mountain. So if we then hold our points together and push, we then get the top of our card. So exactly the same as this, we get the top of our card. So it's as simple as that. Now you'll be going, Liz, that really wasn't simple, that was really complicated. Fortunately, you can rewind the video and have another look. But let me explain it again. So I've decided how wide each of these is going to be, and I decided I was going to use this side to measure, so 3.5 inches. I scored at 1 inch to that 3.5 mark, at 2 inches, added 1.25 inches, added 1.25 inches, then took this measurement, divide by 2, and that's how you work out your back. Now, if these measurements were different, this would end up being different because you may not have as much card left. So that's the only real measurement you have to do with maths. So if I did half an inch, half an inch, an inch, an inch, I'm going to have half an inch, half an inch, an inch, an inch. This piece is going to be bigger because I haven't scored as much this side. So that's where you need to have that measure and divide by 2. So having made our stepper card, let's make a project with it. And I'm going to use the Christmas Scotty. Now I have done some prep. So let me grab what I've prepped. I've got one of each of the Scotty dogs. This is the one that goes with the punch, so you can get it as a bundle. So this is punched out. Obviously you punch it from the back, which is why it's that way round. And it also punches a bow. I'm not actually going to use the bow. Just don't fancy using it, so I'm not going to. I am going to use this swirl, and I am going to use this because this I think is quite tricky to do, so I thought I would show you how to do it. So I'm going to give each of these a collar, and I'm going to grab my Real Red Dark blend, and to give them a collar, I'm just going to colour in that gap because it's Real Red card that I've used, so I'm going to give them each a Real Red collar. Like that. I've got my Real Red ink pad at the ready. I've got a piece of, well, 2 pieces of card. So I've got a piece of card that is too big for this. I'm going to trim it down, but I want to use this to stamp my gingham on. And I suppose it's more of a plaid. And I've also got this strip, which will go across the bottom here with that lovely swirl on it. So I'm going to stamp that first, and I'm going to stamp it so that it's longer than I need, because I'm actually going to put it the whole way across the bottom of my card. And I'm going to have it, well, it doesn't actually matter which way I have it because I can turn it over. So I'm going to stamp once, and I'm going to see if I can be clever and line that up. No, not really. But I could line that up. So I'm going to hope, it's quite dark, the Real Red is quite dark, so it's not that easy to see through. But I'm going to go for it. Yes! So I've now got that lovely swirl, which is going to be wide enough to go across there and obviously fall off the edge, but that's fine. Now I'm going to quickly clean my stamp because being red, it is going to stain my stamp. All inks that have a red in them, which includes Night of Navy, will stain your photopolymer stamps. They're still perfectly fine to use, but they will stain. Now let's get Real Red onto my plaid, and I'm going down the card. Am I going down or up? Oh, I could go that way, couldn't I? Let's go that way. So this is going to go into the middle of the card, which I am then going to trim down. I'm going to have to trim down and square up. And Now, these are offset, so we've got an overlap here and an overlap here, so you can actually line up, assuming you haven't turned your stamp over in the process, you can line up the stamp. If you get it the right way up, you can line up the stamp so that you get a full plaid. As I say, it's not the easiest colour to line up through, but I'm going to give it a go. Oh, I've got a gap. Let's see if I can fill the gap. Wish me luck. I can stick a dog over it. It'll be fine. So I won't worry. I should probably have used my stamp and piercing mat, particularly as it's a very solid stamp, but I didn't, so it's fine. Right, so I'm going to trim this down, and I'm just going to, well, I'm going to start by giving it a straight edge. So let's grab my trimmer, because at the moment it's got a skew width edge. So I'm going to line up so that that straight line at the edge there is down the middle of my trimmer. So I now have a straight edge that I can work from. So I want a little bit of gap around the edge. So I want, let's grab my pencil, I'm going to trim actually at the edge of the plaid, and then if I turn it over, I'm going to trim it about there. So I'm going to do that first. Actually, I'm not going to do that first because I need to trim those bits first. So I'm going to have to line that up again in a minute, but it'll be fine. Actually, no, I can do it. I can do it if I take this down to the other end. You wouldn't think that this could be that difficult, would you? So this is a 90-degree angle because it's the ones that we've trimmed square. So if I then do that, dear Lord, and then trim off there. So that is going to pop on there like that, and we're going to cover the splodge anyway because we're going to use this. So I'm going to trim off at that point, so I know I've got a cut ribbon at that end, and then measure this, and we're going to cut. So this is all without measuring because I am, as I say, trying to do this project without measurements so that wherever you are in the world you can replicate it. Right. Okay. Let's create. I need some of that. You don't have to use seal all the way around the edge. I just have. Let's do it that way. Like that. And then this piece I'm going to line up against that. So we're going to cover up that piece with this. And this time I'm going to use liquid glue. You can use whatever adhesive you want. Part of the reason I'm using liquid glue on this, I'm not a great fan of liquid glue on the smooth basic white or very vanilla, but because we're going over a layer of card, I just want to make sure we get a really good adhesion. Sorry about the helicopter going over the top of the house. It's a foggy day and we live near an RAF base. So it's this bit that I'm concerned about because that's going over a gap. So that's why I've used the liquid adhesive. Right, let's grab our Scotty dogs. So this one is on its back legs. This one is just standing ordinarily, and this one is looking over its shoulder. So this one I'm going to have there because it's looking at this one. This is standing on its back legs. Yep. And this one's just going, really? I'm going to pop this one onto dimensionals because it's on the front of our card. So to take that off. Wasn't sure if it could come off or not. So this one is going to be standing just there. And then these two I'm going to glue. So you do just need to make sure that you're going to glue that, hide all the glue. You don't want the glue proud of the card because it will be sticky and it will stick to things. Don't want to do that. And this one again, so this is going on the back here like that, so he's begging. So we've got our 3 Scotty dogs, and I think we need a sentiment. So let's have a look at the sentiments that we've got. You're always loved, Merry Christmas, may your days be furry and bright, and woof. Now these are at 90%, so we do need to just make sure that we know what sizes we've got. So I'm quite liking may your days be furry and bright, and that would fit quite nicely on that, on a little strip. So let's use that block. Have I got a strip that it will fit on? Yes, I do. It's almost like it was planned. It wasn't, but it's almost like it was. So may your days be furry and bright. And because it's photopolymer, we can see through. Come down a little bit, and then I can choose between them. Yeah, I prefer the second one, I think. Clean my stamp while it's still a bit wet. So let's snip that there. Now how wide is that in comparison? Right, so I can do teeny weeny little flagged end. So it's much easier to do that straight cut and then cut to it rather than trying to cut the angle without that cut. So let's pop that up onto dimensionals, and then I think we'll just add a few embellishments and we will call it done. A fun little Scotty dog Christmas card. May your days be furry and bright. Let's line that up with the plaid, and I'm going to grab our matte black dots, and I take your big tool. Little one as well. Yeah, I definitely want it down here. In fact, I want a big one. I want a big one. There we go. So there we are. A nice little sidestepper Scotty dog card. So, I hope that made sense. As I say, you may want to rewind the video a couple of times and just go over how I did the measurements, or lack of measurements. But it will work for either size of cardstock. So, hopefully, you will be on the road to success for a sidestepper card. Okay, so thank you very much indeed for watching. I will be back live next Tuesday. There will be a Simple Stamping Saturday video on Saturday morning, and a Top Tip Tuesday on Tuesday morning. And then I'll be back live as of Tuesday late morning. So until then, have a fantastic day. Do remember that if you are in the UK, France, Germany, Austria, the Netherlands, Belgium or the Republic of Ireland, I would love to show you my customer service or welcome you to our team. We have a great team. We get together once a month via Zoom, so it doesn't matter where you are in Europe, you can join our monthly Zoom call, and we just chat and craft and share projects and have a great time. So it would be fantastic if you would join us. And in October you get extra in your starter kit, and you get to either register to go to Onstage Live in Vienna, and you won't have to pay the entry fee, you'll still have to pay your hotel accommodation and stuff, or also free during October you can purchase the live recordings, or the recordings of the live event, which you can then watch back later. So even more things to get you started if you are in the Republic of Ireland or in Belgium. So those only apply to the Republic of Ireland and Belgium as a welcome to Stamping Up, and this is what it's all about. So thank you very much indeed for joining today, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye for now. Oh.